Being in a romantic relationship with somebody who has an avoidant attachment style can make you feel really insecure and fearful of what the future holds for that relationship. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how to detach from an avoidant partner so that you can focus on the good things about your relationship and show up as your best version the way that you intended for that relationship to go. I know exactly how you feel being in a relationship where you feel misunderstood and feels like your partner is incapable of meeting your needs. So this video is dedicated to you, and everything that I talk about here I have personally done, so I know that this stuff works. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to let me know by hitting the thumbs up button and consider subscribing to my channel if relationship content interests you. So you probably realize that you're in a relationship with somebody with an avoidant attachment style. And oftentimes you probably feel like emotionally they're not meeting you where you want to be. Maybe in the beginning of the relationship when they were trying to impress you and be close to you, things were different. But now that you're in a long-term committed relationship with them, it feels like they just changed. This is a very common scenario, so you are not alone. Basically, anybody with an anxious attachment style who is married to a partner with an avoidant is this way. And if you feel like you aren't anxiously attached to your partner, that's totally fine. These steps in this video will still help you. So I don't want you to be put off by me saying that, for you to actually hear the important things I have to share. To understand how you guys got here, the very first thing you need to do is understand why you chose this partner, why you are attracted to them. So there's a reason that this person was brought into your life instead of somebody else. Maybe there are things that you need to work on in yourself that this partner keeps highlighting for you through different scenarios, through different things, for you to pay attention to them. That is the viewpoint that I adopted, which has helped alleviate a lot of the questions that I had, like, why this partner? Maybe this isn't the right person for me. Why does this feel so hard? And I truly believe that the partner we choose on a subconscious level is the person that is meant to help us grow and develop on a personal level. The earlier you learn these lessons in your relationship, the quicker you guys are able to build that foundation of a healthy relationship where both of you feel heard, seen, valued, loved, appreciated, and so forth. See, the beauty of a relationship is two imperfect people coming together and building and creating something beautiful. If you're able to accept this idea, everything else is going to become so much easier. You're going to face a lot less resistance when it comes to actually implementing these things. Now, I want you to remember when specifically you feel the most misunderstood by your partner, or maybe hurt, maybe resentful, forgotten, unappreciated. Whatever word resonates most with you, you obviously have moments in your relationship, and you could probably start to remember when these moments are that make you feel the least connected to your partner. And the more scenarios that you can remember, the more ideas you have to pull from, the bigger your database will be for your pattern recognition, which is super important. In my relationship, I felt this the most when he would go spend time at the gym for himself, and I was stuck at home taking care of small kids. Or when he would go out to fishing trips because he's a big fisherman. So I would feel very much alone, and part of that reason is also because we live in an area that's far from my family, and for me that was really tough to just kind of feel isolated and alone. Of course, I didn't help myself in this scenario, which is something I will talk about in just a few minutes, but I want you to identify what specifically happens that causes you to feel the way you feel towards your partner. Because you are able to identify when specifically you feel this in your relationship, you're going to be able to do things a little bit differently to get a different result for your relationship. So here's what I did. I started paying attention to the way that I was feeling and talking to my partner during those moments when I felt like I was left behind, when I felt like I wasn't the most important thing to him at that moment. And I started to reframe what I would think about the situation. For example, instead of feeling like I was left behind and he's out having his great time while I'm stuck and he kind of forgot to pay attention to me, I would take that and view it as, this is my time for me. And if you look at the actual facts, it was time for me to do whatever I wanted to do without feeling like I have to spend this little time that we have together to try to connect and make it more about my partner. It was just time for me to do whatever I wanted to do. And the more that you start to understand your own triggers, what bothers you about your partner, the more you start to accept yourself and reframe these things. And at the same time, you're learning so much about your partner and the way that their brain works, that you're able to better understand them instead of getting hurt about small things. So the only way to truly detach from your avoidant partner is to do the work inside of yourself, to face your own fears, your own feelings, and be able to process them, feel them. The first few times are going to be the hardest for you to do this because you're doing a new behavior that you've never done before. If you're able to actually implement this, I want to say that I'm so proud of you. I mentioned that I was doing some things in this relationship too that weren't making them better, so let's talk about that. When I was feeling a certain way towards my partner, the way that I would speak to him and the way that I would show up in my relationship would be very guarded and very resentful. There was always a hint of like feeling defensive, and everything that I would say, the way that I would just stand when I was talking to him was very off-putting. And your partner picks up on body language too, so an avoidant person is much more likely to run away from anything that they feel is uncomfortable. And that's exactly what would happen, which would then trigger me to feel even more alone and more misunderstood. And the pattern would just keep going and going and going. So when you start doing things differently in your relationship, if you have to act it out the first few times, this is completely normal because we don't do this normally. And that is why it kind of feels so unnatural at first. But you're going to help yourself move past these hurts and things that you maybe learned in childhood or in your relationship prior to this one. So you really need to take a look at everything that happens in your life, especially when you feel like you're experiencing negative things, as a lesson to learn or something that occurs to shift your life into the way that you want it to go. Detaching from an avoidant partner is going to benefit you most of all because you are going to be able to show up as your best self. So I strongly encourage you to do this, and this was just my first step to this whole process. If you want to learn more and learn about communicating to your partner so that they want to meet your needs, I have a course linked down below. It is going to transform your relationship in 14 days. Of course, I'm biased, but I think it is the best thing out there. And not only are you going to learn everything that I know about how to communicate in your relationship, how to build that foundation for a healthy relationship, but I'm also going to help guide you for 4 weeks after you purchase the course in case you have any questions that come up or something that you're really struggling with, you need some extra help, and perhaps it's not covered in the course. I would be so honored to help you with this. I'm so invested in you living your best relationship because that is such a big part of your life, your overall happiness, and it affects everything else in life. So thank you so much for making it this far into the video. I want to wish you the very best, and I'll see you guys in my next one.